Hey guys, it's Steve from Featherlight Studio, and today we're checking out Nektar's powerhouse creative software, Nektarine, and specifically how it integrates seamlessly with the Aura Beat Composer MIDI controller hardware. Now, I've already done a complete and in-depth review on this MIDI controller and specifically how it compares to our trusty Akai MPD-226. So if you're interested in that full-length video, I'll leave that info in the links below. But today, we're going to focus on just the Nektarine software by itself. It can be run as a standalone piece of software or as a VST. So let's dive in and find out a little bit more about this creative monster. The Nektarine software is included with the Aura purchase, as well as the DAW controller software. And to use both, we'll need to create an account on Nektar's website. Once you tick the appropriate boxes for your relevant computer OS and the DAW that you're using, the needed installation files show up once you hit submit. Here we have the install files for Nektarine for our computer, as well as the DAW controller software. That's important if we want to use the DAW controller features on the Aura Beat Composer. In our case, the ones for Cubase weren't here, but a quick support ticket solved the problem and we were on our way. Once the software was installed and the suggested changes to our MIDI setups implemented, the transport controls in our DAW worked without a hitch. Now it's time to install the powerhouse software that really makes the Aura unique, known as Nektarine. Once the software for Nektarine is installed, Nektar suggests that you start the standalone version of the plugin first, as this installs some important and needed patches and pathways that apparently aren't installed if you run the DAW version first. One of the most impressive features of the Aura is the physical hardware is a seamless representation of the Nektarine plugin software, which is capable of hosting both VSTi instruments and plugins. So let's explore the layout of the Nektarine interface. The Nektarine plugin is designed like a mixer and is capable of holding 16 channels of independent plugin chains, which Nektar refers to as slots. Each one of those slots corresponds to one of the 16 pads on the Aura, which you can see in banks of 8 in the display. Up here on the control bar, the view icon runs the show and enables or disables each of Nektarine's 3 main zones. We're already looking at the first one where the plugins are hosted. If we click to the right of that, we enable the inserts zone, which each one of the slots can have up to 4. And if we click on the bottom, that enables our send effects zone, which the entire mixer and all the slots can send and receive to up to 4 independent effects. Depending on your system's screen resolution, you may not see all the zones in the plugin when it first fires up, even if the view icon has them all active. To help illustrate this, we're going to load our first VST instrument into the first of 16 available slots in the Nektarine software. This is Addictive Drums. Once open, you can see that the plugin's interface is clipped a little bit on the right-hand side. We could try manually resizing the plugin interface, but every single plugin is going to be different, and this could be a tedious process with a lot of different plugins. Thankfully, Nektarine gives us a solution to that by clicking this double arrowed icon, which instantly resizes the plugin window to any plugin interface regardless of its shape or size. Here, after our interface is loaded and we choose a kit in Addictive Drums, you can see that the plugin interface, as large as it is, has obscured the bottom send effects zone. So we have to go down and expand the bottom of the plugin so we can see that that zone is still there. It's simply obscured by the plugin interface. Clicking on the slot number expands to show us the plugin in it. And down here on the bottom of the interface, we can see the 4 effects send channels, send 1 through send 4, and their relevant volume controls. Currently, we have no plugins installed in them. Try to think of these as volume returns or send returns on a mixer channel and the relative pan positions that all 16 slots can send to. And up here in the right-hand corner of the interface are the 4 sends that each individual slot can send to those returns on the bottom. And rounding out the rest of the Nektarine plugin interface are the tabs here at the top. The setting tabs allows us to change how the plugins are listed, change the MIDI in mode, and to change the plugin scanning options. The preferences option allows us to make changes to our audio and MIDI settings, as well as back up and restore our settings to the plugin itself. Aura already maps most of the plugin's common parameters to the surface of the unit, but if you'd like to change those yourself, the Control tab opens up a complete control design interface that allows you to program each plugin any way you see fit, no matter how obscure the plugin. The Browser tab allows us to easily save and load and find all of our patch data and multi-patch data with a variety of tagging and location options. In addition to being able to create your own custom patches for each one of the slots and its various configurations, and then make it instantly recallable from the interface of Nektarine, it also loads those patches directly to the interface of the Aura, making them seamless with the hardware. Now on the Aura's display, we have all the same browse, load, save, and tagging information that the software provides right from the hardware surface. And after you've designed each one of your custom configurations for each patch on all of the available slots in the Aura, the entire ensemble can be saved as a multi-patch and instantly recalled. Next, the plugin tab simply takes us back to the main plugin interface of each one of the individual slots. And the final field simply displays all the patches or multi-patches that we've already stored. Currently, we still only have one slot active, so let's take a quick look at the inserts interface. Here, we've inserted one of Steven Slade's bus compressors on our Addictive Drums insert, and we can see the interface by clicking on the first number in the inserts chain. Clicking back on the slot number or striking the corresponding pad takes us back to that plugin interface. Now, let's load a send effect into one of the 4 send effect channels that all 16 slots can send into. Once our send effects has loaded, in this case a Waves Reverb, we can see its interface by clicking on the first send effects button. And of course, because this is a send effect and not an insert, we're also going to need to disable the direct sound of the plugin. If we hit the Mixer Soft button on the Aura Beat Composer, we get a visual representation of all 16 slots that are available, but currently only one slot is active, and that's the one that has our Addictive Drums plugin loaded into it. If we hit the Pad Setup button, it takes us to all the relevant information about that plugin and the pad and slot that it's assigned to, in this case, slot 1. Now it's time to add another slot or channel to our second pad here, and to do that, we simply touch the pad and then press the Add Slot Soft button, and here we can see we've clearly added a second slot to our mixer configuration. In addition, when we look up here to Nectarine's Slot 2 interface, we see that it's empty because we haven't added any VSTs or effects to it yet. So this time on our new slot or channel, number 2, we're going to load in something different. We're going to load in an instance of Contact. We're going to choose one of the factory selections and choose one of the drum machine presets that has a whole suite of sampled sounds and loops to choose from. Now we're going to go up to our slot 2 inserts and choose something from the Waves library. We'll choose an L1, and we're going to place that on the first of the 4 available inserts for this slot. And again, like before, we can see the plugin interface in the inserts by simply clicking on the number of the first insert. And simply striking the pad assigned to slot 2 takes us back to slot 2's plugin interface, where we can set up this channel's effect sends and then immediately jump back to the first one by striking the relevant pad. Or we can click the actual pad up here in the pad window as well. This allows us to jump to any of the available slots simply by striking their corresponding pads, no matter how many we have assigned, until we fill up all of our mixer's available channels or slots, which makes for super fast navigation. So as you can see, this presents some huge creative potential when it comes to kit building, since you can use any of your library's VSTIs and plugins as potential sources for sound. So that's a quick look at Nektar's powerhouse software, Nektarine. And as you can see, when paired with its companion hardware products, gives you some pretty amazing creative potential. Hey, thanks for stopping by, you guys. If this was helpful in any way, please hit the subscription and notification bells. Stay safe out there. Be creative, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.